I mean, these basically looking forward now, there are 3 or 4 stories that we're going to see. One is this Bonaire election, which I think is a foregone conclusion. The next will be whether or not Steve Scalise can hold on to his job as the House Majority Whip, the number 3 in the Republican caucus, even though it has now been revealed that in 2002, as a Louisiana lawmaker, and this is according to, well, he is now conceded. It was initially reported through someone coming through Stormfront, which is one of the internet's oldest and most acclaimed white supremacy sites, where people were hyping Steve Scalise when he was first running for Congress because of his speaking at Euro. What is Euro? It is the European American Unity and Rights Organization. Europeans? What are they doing in Louisiana? Why would Europeans have an organization about their rights in Louisiana? Its leader was David Duke, of course, the former Grand Wizard of the KKK, and also a Europhile, I guess. He was
Those are totally separated activities.
Yes.
One is about violent white supremacy. The other is about preserving French culture.
Not just French culture, all European culture. Things like demi-tasses and espressos.
And lattes.
Yes,
if I could do a real random callback.
And so Steve Scalise spoke at this to this organization. He now is claiming, look, I had no idea what it was. I just went there to discuss tax policy and how, now you should know, back in 2002, there was probably a Euro website which railed against the Zio media lies. Now, I suppose Zio could be just like a drink in Euro or in Europe, but it turns out to be the Zionist media lies. Yeah. And Scalise just said, look, I just happened to go there. Although in 1999, he said he agreed with many of David Duke's conservative views. His conservative ones. You know, the conservative views about how great Europe is. Supported by his organization, Euro.
The real problem with his liberal racism.
I had no idea, Scalise said, that there was white supremacist views of that group. I was unaware of it when I was a state lawmaker. Now, coincidentally, Steve Scalise was one of 6 out of 96 lawmakers in the Louisiana State House who voted to make MLK Day a state holiday. And you say, well, but look, back then, the 80s, in the 90s, even obviously in the 70s, it was very contentious. This was in 2004. And he was one of 6 out of 96 who voted against it. Just another one of those weird coincidences. And why did he do it? Of course, we all know why he did it, because it's not a holiday in Europe. So why would you have it be a holiday here?
In his defense, 2004 was 11 years ago, Sam.
That's right. And now that we're in 2015, it was 11 years ago.
My thinking about the Reverend Martin Luther King really shifted in around 2013. It was a very controversial figure in America until that point.
So David Duke now, in, I guess, a means in which to protect Scalise. And I should say, there have been, I think at this point, 6 or 7 Republican lawmakers who have come out and said that they are going to vote against Speaker Boner. There have been 0 who have criticized Steve Scalise. David Duke has come out and said, apparently to a Fusion television, I've grown up, he goes, the rush to repudiate Scalise and his possible white nationalist sympathies is all BS. I know who the real racists are, says David Duke. And he is claiming if Scalise is going to be crucified, if Republicans want to throw Steve Scalise to the woods, then a lot of them better be looking over their shoulders. In other words, David Duke is saying, if I'm that toxic, there's a lot of people who.
By the way,
I
like. Do you notice to the woods instead of to the wolves? That's a Euro phrase,
right?
To the woods,
as opposed to under the bus, right?
A very American.
To the woods is much more Scandinavian,
more genteel.
Yes,
more David Duke expressing his appreciation for European culture.
That's right.
Even in that soundbite.
That's right. To the like the forest, sometimes, as he would say.
I do urge him to come out with those. I dare you, come out with those names.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if that prevents other Republicans. But look, let's be fair here. Not every Republican is racist, but what is clear is that the racists are such a large voting bloc within the Republican Party that no one will even criticize a member of the leadership for having such close ties with a white supremacy group. I mean, I'm not saying anything that is new or profound, but, it's 2015. It's nice to get a reminder on the first day of 2015. It is very, very convenient. And I know, I'm being so intolerant as a liberal to show such intolerance for a European group. It's called Euro, ladies and gentlemen.